This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven son. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Saturday, January 28th. Another special Saturday show. Why are we doing Saturday mornings? Because last night, the non-genetically proven son, the one that's in the upper left-hand portion of the screen, was on assignment.
Again.
At the Bryce Jordan Center.
Again. For wrestling. Again.
Wrestling. So how you doing this morning?
It's probably the first day in a few months I literally have nothing to do.
You have nothing to do.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd feeling. I'm not used to literally having zero responsibilities anymore.
Huh.
Because usually weekends are full of sports.
Yes. Yes.
Of course, on my day of nothing to do, there's nothing on TV.
There's lots on TV.
There's some hockey tonight that I'll watch.
Black Sheep Squadron's on from 6 to 8 o'clock tonight. Come on.
There you go. Whatever that is.
That's like the dude whose building he used to go into. That was named after. That was like his first or second show he ever produced. Was a show about World War II fighters. You should probably watch it. It was a good show.
Okay.
Your uncle used to like that show a lot.
Okay.
Good show. So anyway, you were on assignment as the number 1 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions were facing the number 2 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah.
At the Bryce Jordan Center. Penn State was the favorite. You had to figure they were going to be the favorite going in.
Right.
I was a little disappointed at the crowd reaction last night. The crowd was dead.
I wasn't because in 3 straight matches, the Iowa guys didn't wrestle the Penn State guys. They ran away.
Yeah, but like...
Because they know the only way they can win is a no takedown 2-1, 3-1 crappy match.
Yeah.
Because they know they're not going to win if they wrestle them.
Sure.
Because they're not good.
Sure. But the crowd, like, still, like, they cheered very early. So, the match starts out at weight 125, which is the lightest weight in college wrestling.
Right.
And Iowa has, like, the national champion. Like, the best, could potentially be, by the time he's done, the best wrestler ever at 125.
Yeah, he's a two-time Hodge Trophy winner.
Yeah, Spencer Lee is his name. By the way, he's from Pennsylvania. It's amazing how he didn't end up going to Penn State.
He was supposed to go to Penn State. Thank you, the guy that went to Rutgers. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
And he froze. But yeah, he's supposed to go to Penn State. Same with DeSanto. And guess what? Neither happened.
Well, Penn State's doing just fine without him.
Except at 125, where we're just ultimately cursed to never have a good wrestler.
So, they threw up Marco who?
Vespa.
Marco Vespa.
Who's the backup to our normal 125.
The backup to the normal 125. So, Vespa was just trying not to get pinned, basically. That's what you were thinking going in. Because Spencer Lee had pinned like the last 6 or 7 of his opponents.
6.
Most of them
And the number 3 ranked wrestler at 125 hit him in 38 seconds.
Right. So the match starts. So for those of you that don't know how wrestling works, there's 3 quote-unquote periods.
Yeah.
The first period lasts 3 minutes, the second period and the third period lasts 2 minutes. So Vespa, like, as soon as they started, like, he attacked.
Right.
Which I don't think Spencer Lee expected.
That happened to him last week against, like, Illinois or somebody. Like, in the first 5 seconds, he almost got pinned. But he got tilted and was down like 6-2, and then he pinned the guy.
And he pinned the guy, yeah. So somebody snapped a picture last night of Spencer Lee almost getting pinned. And I want to show this picture, and I will give credit to the person that snapped the picture. You know, Lord knows I don't feel like getting sued here at Phatts TV. So, there's the picture that I saw last night.
Man, that looks oddly familiar.
That would have been, if he was able to pull his weight down, that would have been the upset of the decade.
Yeah.
Easily the upset of the decade. So DB3 owns the rights to this picture, taken by Althouse Photography.
Woo.
Taken by Althouse Photography. Take a bow. That was a pretty good action shot.
The best part is it's literally the picture I took with my phone of my computer screen.
So let me ask you, how many pictures like was in that series?
So for wrestling, I don't. So think for football, I will take 10 frames a second. I'll go. For wrestling, I just go. I don't blast them.
Oh, so this was really literally the only picture.
There's only like 3.
Interesting.
Because when they're moving so quickly like that, my focus can't keep up.
Got it.
So it's a little easier with the lighting because the lighting is really bad to just do one at a time. Or like I set it to low so it'll go if I hold it. But I'll usually just like one.
Got it.
Like for a whole match, I'll only take like 300 photos.
Wow. Heck, you might do that in one drive in football.
Yeah. There'll be football games where I come out with 2,000 photos. There's a reason it takes me 2 hours to go through everything after football games.
Yeah. So Penn State ended up winning by 9 points, by the way. Like 24-15-ish, somewhere around there. 25-16.
23-14.
Yeah. 23-14 was the final. Where Penn State is just dominant in 3 out of the last 4 classes. They have the number 1 ranked wrestler in the country, and then in the heavyweight they have the number 2 ranked.
And Max Dean and Warner was 4-7 or 4-6, but they're 1-2. They are the 2 best wrestlers at 195. Just they both have a couple losses.
Yes, to the same guy.
Yeah,
from Iowa State.
Yeah, so they'll probably be the national championship match, assuming they don't have to face each other beforehand because they're not going to be the 1 and 2 seeds.
So they probably end up having to face each other.
Potentially.
Yeah, depending upon how the draw goes. I mean, you got to expect in Big Ten, they'll be the finalists.
Should be.
Easily. And Penn State has another national champion at, what is it, like 134, 135, whatever that weight class is.
133.
133. Oh, that's
They were
close.
three national champions at 133, 174, 185, 197. And they have potential national champions at heavyweight, those four, and potentially even 157.
Yes. So Iowa did have a chance to win. If they got a pin in the final match, they would have won. They would have ended up tying in points. The first tiebreaker, they would have tied. The second tiebreaker, Iowa actually would have won the tie. And Iowa's heavyweight wrestler actually did have 10 or 11 pins on the season.
Yeah.
But the Penn State guy, and he was 3-0 against the Penn State guy officially. 3-1 unofficially. But the Penn State guy is just now better than him.
If you look at his thighs, they're bigger than my chest.
Yes. So, like, the whole second period, he quote-unquote rode him. Now, don't take that term sexually. We're not talking about sexually. So, as, again, for those of you that don't know wrestling, in the second and third period, each person, so the person who is winning after the first period gets the choice of what they want to do in the second. They could start, again, don't take this sexually, they could start on top, on bottom, or neutral. Or they can defer. I didn't know that until last night.
A lot of the times they do defer.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So the Penn State guy chose to be on top, and he rode him the entire 2 minutes in the second half. And the weight class for heavyweight is 285, by the way.
Yeah.
I could tell you as a bigger guy, if you have somebody who weighs 285 or more on top of you for 2 minutes, it's going to tire you the fuck out.
Yeah. Especially when Greg is all muscle. He's one of the only heavyweights that's just straight muscle.
Yes.
Every other heavyweight's got a little fat to them. Now he's just straight muscle.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to tire you out. So not only are you carrying around your 285 pounds, now you have to carry around somebody else's 285 pounds.
Yeah.
You have no energy after 2 minutes. I'm just going to say that right there and then. In fact, at the start of the third period, when it was the Iowa person's chance to start on bottom, see, there's an advantage to starting on bottom because if you could escape, you get a point.
Right.
The Iowa guy, like, just
let them go neutral.
Yeah.
And just gave Penn State guy the point.
Yeah.
He wasn't gonna hold him down probably for more than 10
No.
seconds anyway.
No, I mean, the match was over at that point. Like, there was no way he was going to pin him at that point. Because he couldn't fucking move. I mean, he was probably breathing heavy again. Don't take that sexually. He was probably breathing heavy for about an hour and a half after that match. Trying to get some oxygen into his lungs. You fat people will understand what I mean. Let a 300-pound person lay across you for 2 minutes.
While you're trying to get up.
While you're trying to get up. Yeah.
And
Yes,
then they
not-
keep knocking your arms and wrists out, so you keep falling.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that, like you just wonder, you know, when you watch it on TV, I don't know how different it is when you're there live. I would love to sit, like, front row to watch one of these things live. But, like, when you're watching it on TV, obviously they get up and close. It's amazing how they could just hold you down they have your one leg kind of trapped between their two legs and one arm on your wrist. And it's like, you can't move.
Yeah, I don't know.
It paralyzes you. It's amazing. It's like you would think with like being able to wiggle around all of your body weight, especially at a weight like 140 or 150, that you should be able to wiggle your way out of there pretty easy, but you can't. It's amazing. The physics of wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. I just take pictures of it.
And by the way, as a little plug, if you like wrestling, the Royal Rumble is tonight on Peacock at 8 o'clock. Different kind of wrestling.
Penn State hockey's on at 7 o'clock.
Penn State hockey is on the Big Ten Network at 7 o'clock. Hopefully they play better than they played last night.
They scored 3 last night. That's good.
And gave up 7.
That's not so good.
Yes. So, last week, there was a couple football games.
Yeah.
For those of you that watched the Tuesday show, we brought this up a little bit on the Tuesday show at the end, and I said, we are definitely talking about this during our sports show. So there was a couple football games last weekend. One of them between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. And by the way, the message board is live and operational. Please chime in and give me your opinion on what we're about to talk about. So, the Eagles scored early. The Eagles scored often. They pretty much hammered the Giants 38-7. What I want to talk about has nothing to do with the football game itself. So, as they were going to commercial break after the Eagles scored either their first or second touchdown, I don't remember which one it was, they were doing a pan shot of, like, one of the rows of the people in the crowd.
Yeah.
And one of the guys was holding light beer. Light beer, ladies and gentlemen.
That's all a stadium sells.
It does not.
In a can? That's all you're getting. You can get a Yingling, probably.
I'm telling you, there was a lady a couple rows down. She was not holding light beer.
What was she holding?
Something not light beer.
Do you consider Yingling light beer?
I consider Yingling light beer. They do make
okay,
Yingling
but it's
light.
not called like something. It's not called Yingling Light. It's just called Yingling.
No, because it's not light. It's regular beer. Yingling Light is light beer. I don't consider Yingling a dark beer. I don't consider Yingling a heavy beer. Like the stuff you drink. You get ready to pound your chest. I'm actually going to give you a compliment right now. Get ready to pound your chest. You drink a manly beer.
Let's go. Yeah, I do drink a manly beer.
God, that was the. What the fuck was that?
I drink a manly beer.
You drink a manly beer. What beer is your choice when you could drink? If there's 100 beer on the shelf, what is your go-to beer?
Oh, all right. I mean Guinness.
Thank you. Okay.
But anything dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a brewery I go to every Thursday. They make their own, but I drink pretty much. It's basically Guinness, but it tastes better because it's out of a tap.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever do that again, Daniel.
Well, yeah, that kind of looked pretty. Yeah, that kind of looked a little.
It was very uncomfortable.
Like you just went. You went. Like what the hell was that? That you just go. Like Walter Ray Williams. You went like.
You don't drink beer.
If I were to go to a bar and where I could drink any beer, my go-to beer is white birch.
It's not beer. If you're going to drink something alcoholic...
Stop right there. White birch, what's the next word?
Beer.
Thank you.
It's not-alcoholic.
White birch, what's the last name?
Beer, but it's not alcoholic.
White birch.
You're not going to find that at a bar.
Beer.
On cannolis, you'll find that.
Yes, I will admit I do not like the taste of beer. If I'm going to go to a bar and I'm going to drink alcohol, I'm going to drink whiskey.
Yeah, right.
You don't believe me?
I don't think I've ever seen you drink whiskey.
Have we ever like been to a bar where I drank alcohol? Oh. No. I don't drink a lot of alcohol. Why? Because I'm too fucking cheap. If we want to know the real reason why I don't drink a lot of alcohol, I'm too fucking cheap. Either I'm drinking whiskey, or I'm drinking rum, I'm drinking tequila.
Weiss Birch beer is the best.
Thank you, Tom.
Weiss Birch.
Thank you. It's still beer. But to get back, we got a little bit of off topic now. They're panning through the crowd, and there is a guy holding light beer.
A Miller Lite.
That's even worse. There is no chance if his girlfriend like sees it, like he's not getting laid that night. like I'll guarantee you, assuming he's not a homosexual.
I guess all my roommates were
homosexuals,
because they all drank Miller Lite and I drank Guinness.
Who was the man of the house? Who was the man of the house is all I'm going to say. There is no way that guy got laid that night. I mean, that is a beta male move. Like you're not even blue pilled at that moment. You are like fucking yellow pilled.
So you're basically calling out every frat boy in America.
A lot of them are pretty much beta males. They may pretend to be alpha males, but frat boys are beta males. Yeah, trust me, they are.
They all drink light beer because it's cheap. That's the only reason people drink it. It's cheap.
It tastes like piss.
I mean, you're not wrong. If I'm not drinking Guinness, I'll probably drink an IPA of some sort.
I mean, if you want to drink light beer in the privacy of your own home, go for it. Go for it. Whatever you want to do in the privacy of your own home, go for it. If you want to sit there and drink fucking piss in the privacy of your own home, go for it. But when you are out with friends at a fucking sporting event like football or hockey, it's a little more acceptable at basketball. But if you're at football where real men, don't take that the wrong way, where there's hitting on every play, or at a hockey game where you get checked into the boards, you can't be drinking light beer. I have no respect for you if you drink light beer at a fucking sporting event other than basketball.
Well, basketball sucks.
Because I mean, maybe even soccer, because you get touched in soccer and they're rolling around on the field for 20 minutes.
Damn.
Well, it's true.
Certain players, yeah.
Seriously, what do you guys think? Is it a beta male move to drink light beer at a sporting?
So you're kind of basically saying, because you don't want to drink a heavy beer at a sporting event. You don't want to feel groggy.
Light beer.
Because, like, the people that drink heavy beer, like Guinness, we're not drinking it to get drunk. We're drinking it because we like it, because we like the taste.
Mm-hmm.
You drink light beer to get drunk. You don't drink light beer for the taste.
Let's just say I was a beer drinker.
Okay.
Let's just say I was my father. who drank beer
Okay.
every day. How many light beers would it take me to get drunk
Probably like 8.
with my weight?
Probably like 8.
I'd fucking piss out more of the beer than I would be getting drunk. Google, do me a favor. Google Lincoln Financial Field, like Google alcohol sold at Lincoln Financial Field, and see if it lists what kind of beers they sell. Because I know they sell more than just Miller Lite. I mean, I've been at Citizens Bank Ballpark across the street, and I know they sell more than Miller Lite at Citizens Bank Ballpark. I've only ever been in the Link once, and that was with you to watch a soccer match. Seriously, though, what are you guys... Is it a beta male move to drink light beer at a sporting event, especially football? Like, if I went with you to a sporting event and you're drinking light beer, I have no respect for you. I'm looking for another ride home.
Okay, here we go.
All right, thank you.
So we got Blitz,
I don't even know what that is.
Hard Nose Lager.
Oh, wait. That's a manly beer. Keep going.
5.7%. Miller Lite.
Uh-huh.
Bubble Stash. It's an IPA, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Too Juicy Hazy IPA. That's a good one.
Okay.
High Life.
Miller High Life, right? Miller High Life. Yeah.
Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay. Goose IPA.
Uh-huh.
Green City IPA.
Uh-huh.
Budweiser.
Uh-huh.
Quarterback Factory IPA New England. Emperor Julius. Juice Gymnastics 60-minute IPA. Bud Light.
Uh-huh.
Nice Things Hazy IPA. Hazy Bones.
Okay. So you had a whole list of acceptable beers and 2 beers that women it's acceptable to drink.
I'd go find some sort of tropical IPA. That would be really good. That's a good sporting event drink, like a tropical IPA.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Like a mango hazy IPA.
There is no male should be getting a Miller Lite or a Bud Light at a football game. I said what I said. No comments from the weenie section.
No comments from the weenies.
Again, Miller Lite and Bud Light should be there for the ladies. I'm not saying that the ladies should only drink Miller Lite or Bud Light. The women could drink any one of them on that list.
I think lady drinks are very much like a White Claw, Truly.
Well, sure. But, like, a woman could drink, if she wants a beer, it's socially acceptable for her to drink any one of those that was on that list.
Right.
If a man wants a beer, it is not socially acceptable to be drinking Miller Lite or Bud Light at a football game.
Giannis's beer's gross.
It is. I agree. Except for white birch beer. That shit's pretty good. That shit. If you haven't tried white birch beer, you are missing out. That's some good shit.
Yes, Kiana, I know you like your liquor.
See? She's a girl like, she...
She likes her vodka.
Hey, little gray goose. Uh-huh. See? I know.
You lagged around a little bit there.
I said, oh, little gray goose.
Gray goose.
Gray goose. So Kiana's a vodka drinker.
That, and she really likes this new recipe, this, like, why can't it? Root beer float. It's like a spiked root beer float.
So, Kiana weighs like 92 pounds. It can't take a lot of vodka to get her smashed.
No. Hell yeah, hard liquor is amazing.
That's all I want to say. That guy should be tarred, feathered, branded, never allowed back in the link.
No, you can go back in the link. It's the link.
No.
Of all football places I want you can go to the link because I'm never going to the link. Not for a Philly football game. I'm good. I'll go there for any other sporting event that's not Philadelphia Eagles football. I would sooner travel down to, if I wanted to watch a football game, I'm traveling down to Washington or Baltimore, or I'll go out to New York and watch it.
That's right. You're going to watch the Jets, Jets. Speaking of the Jets.
Oh, she said she's over 100 pounds, by the way.
Was she pregnant? She better not be pregnant. I don't want
to my knowledge.
I don't want to be a grandfather yet. Speaking of the Jets.
Jets.
Jets, Jets.
Missed the playoffs.
They did. The longest playoff drought in the NFL, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. By a lot.
That's kind of sad, hence you have the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a couple news reports floating around that Aaron Rodgers might be wearing a different green uniform next year.
Potentially. Green Bay came out and said that they will get rid of Aaron Rodgers, but they want 2 first-round draft picks. And they wanted a couple of their lower-round draft picks, if I remember correctly.
So, the Jets hired disgraced Denver Broncos coach Nathaniel Hackett this week to be their offensive coordinator. That's the big clue that they're going after Aaron Rodgers. Nathaniel Hackett was offensive coordinator for Green Bay for a couple of years. The Jets do have history of bringing in semi-washed up quarterbacks. Hello, Brett Favre.
They're back up now. Joe Flacco.
Hello, Joe Flacco. So there is history there.
Just the Jets are the only team that are giving up 2 first-round picks. Nobody else is giving up 2 first-round picks for him. You'd be stupid.
You wouldn't think so.
Especially this year, I wouldn't want 2 first-round picks. Because the Packers need a quarterback then.
Kiana says she's not pregnant, by the way.
That's good.
Good to know. Thanks be to God.
Jordan Love is not the option for Green Bay. So what are you going to do? You're going to get 2 first-round draft picks and take one this year? Please don't pick Will Levis.
No, Will Levis will be off the board by then.
Will Levis is going number 1.
It could be.
The Colts are going to trade up for him.
Could be. It's possible. It's possible.
That would be something.
So, Nathaniel Hackett being offensive coordinator is a little clue at what the Jets might try to do. Or is it a clue for something else? So Nathaniel Hackett likes to run the West Coast offense. What other quarterback is going to be on the market that runs the West Coast offense? I'll give you a clue. He's currently out on the West Coast.
Garoppolo?
Jimmy G. Jimmy G. So, do you want to be the Jets and give up a lot of stuff and take on this big salary?
Yeah, he's like 40-some million a year, isn't he?
Yeah. Or do you want to take Jimmy G, pick up, the salary is probably half that, if not less. And then you have room to even pick up some more players.
Get him some more weapons. Get a line.
I mean, the Jets aren't far away from being a really good team. They got a really good defense now.
Top 5 defense.
They have a really good rookie running back who unfortunately got hurt. If he's healthy, you spend a little money to upgrade an already decent offensive line and get a competent quarterback. I mean, New England's going downhill. Has Buffalo peaked in their division?
They could do with a couple more receivers. Couple, like a star receiver. They don't really have that star receiver.
Yeah, and you have, Hopkins is going to be out there this year. He's a free agent. As a Jets fan, I do not want them to pick up Aaron Rodgers.
I wouldn't want him either. His mind is not on the team. It's on himself.
I would prefer Jimmy G. My only concern is Jimmy G is a little injury prone, where Aaron Rodgers isn't.
Very true.
That's my only concern with taking Jimmy G. And as far as I know, Jimmy G doesn't drink light beer at football games.
What about Tom Brady?
Tom Brady drinks light beer at football games.
Ugh, do you want him? Would you take him over Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers, you're at least going to get probably 3 years out of him.
Would I take Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers? That is a really interesting question. I would probably say no.
I think one year with Brady.
Yeah, I don't think Tom. Like if Aaron Rodgers is going to come in and sign a 3-year deal, then yeah. If I have to take a quarterback only for next season, yeah, I might take Tom Brady. He's a proven winner. What has Aaron Rodgers won?
He has a Super Bowl.
He has a Super Bowl. He has a Super Bowl.
Yes. Yeah, and he probably should have 3 or 4. He's had the teams for them.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers came out, and said, hey, I got some MVPs left in me. He didn't say I have some Super Bowls left in me.
That's true.
It's going to be interesting. As a Jets fan, yes, I know, I'm cursed. As a Jets fan, it's going to be interesting to see. This offseason is going to be interesting. The one good thing about me being a Jets fan, I do not drink light beer. Gotta be fucking unreal to drink light beer. So we had some football games last weekend.
Some very uneventful ones.
4 of them, to be exact.
I think 3 of them were pretty boring.
Let's recap to see how we did. Now, we had, for line purposes, all the same picks.
Right.
We had Jacksonville plus 9.5, which was a cover. Jacksonville lost by 7. We had the Giants plus 8. That was a bad pick.
Yeah.
That was a bad pick. We had Cincinnati plus 6. They won outright. And we had San Francisco minus 4. They covered, so we went 3-1 on our picks. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Our extra plays were, I had in the first game Jerick McKinnon to score a touchdown. He did not. You had Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 touchdown passes. That did happen.
Yeah.
In the second game, I had A.J. Brown longest catch being more than 25.5 yards. That did not happen.
Wow.
You had Barkley to run for more than 66.5 yards. That did not happen.
In 61.
I had Joe Burrow to throw more than 1.5 touchdown passes. That did happen. You had Dawson Knox to score a touchdown. That did not happen. And we both had Dak to throw an interception. That did happen.
He threw 2.
So we both went 2-2 on our prop plays, our extra plays for the week. So we're up to the championship games now in our contests. You have 3 teams remaining. I have 1 team remaining. You have your first 3 picks remaining.
Yep.
Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Philly. I have my first pick remaining, San Francisco. In our bracket, you have your bracket is correct at this point. Like, you don't have a perfect bracket.
My only wrong pick was Tampa.
Tampa, right. Right. So you don't have a perfect bracket, but you have the final 4 teams right. I have 3 out of the final 4. I had Buffalo beating Cincinnati last week, figuring the refs would do everything that they could to let Buffalo win that game.
There's a whole lot of speculation that actually wasn't DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Well, because they never really showed his face. And then when he walked into the stadium, he had a hoodie on and was kind of hiding, not going to lie.
Yeah.
So it was a little weird.
I don't know.
By the way, just because I saw it, I don't want to forget about it. Remember the dude, the Philly fan that ran into the pole?
The Philly fan that ran into the pole.
He said he's gonna reenact it and do it again. Good luck.
That looked painful. Where did you see that?
I saw it on Facebook.
Interesting.
Apparently, he came out and said, like, if they win, he'll do it again.
Interesting.
I don't think you can physically do that again because your body won't let you.
Right. Right.
Your body just will not let you run into a pole full force. And then hit the subway as well because you went off the pole into the subway.
Yes. So there's 2 games this weekend. We start off with the NFC championship game.
NCAA championship game.
With the current line, at least at Barstool, Philly is now up to 3. With an over-under of 46.5. So, what we're doing this week is we are giving our pick for the game against the spread. Obviously, we're also going to give our pick for the game of who we think is going to win the game, which could be different than the picks for our spread. And then we're going to give a minimum of 2 extra plays. So, how do you see this game going?
Well, it's the best offense the 49ers have seen and the best defense the Eagles have seen. And I think I told you this earlier.
All
It
right.
was a Super Bowl.
Right there, I disagree with you, but okay.
Okay.
San Francisco did
why.
play Kansas City earlier in the season and got their ass kicked.
I would say the Eagles' defense is Eagles' offense is better.
Okay. Fair enough.
At least they can be. They can be.
Fair enough.
Maybe not consistently, but they can be.
Okay.
There was a Super Bowl in 2012 that was like that. Between the Seahawks and the Broncos.
Yeah.
And one kicked the shit out of the other.
First play of the game, safety.
So you would think right then and there I'm going to lean towards the defense.
You would think.
I'm not.
Oh.
I don't like the rookie quarterback going into Philly in an NFC Championship game and winning. He hasn't really had pressure yet. The first one was the Dallas last week, and he really didn't look that great.
He did not.
In a 19-12 win,
Yeah.
it's a very boring home game. I mean, Dallas is Dallas. They need to. Their peak is whatever they're going to get. They need a new coach, new quarterback, new running back. Sorry. You just do. Sorry, Josh, if you're watching, but if you had a competent quarterback and running back and a head coach, you'd be a lot better. But I see this game being somewhat low scoring. I don't know if I exactly see that a 19-12 type game, but I certainly see like a 20-14 kind of game. 20-17.
Okay.
I like the Eagles to win. So.
Okay, so you're taking the Eagles to win. Are you taking them to cover?
Yes.
And what's your final score?
21-17.
Eagles 21-17. And your prop plays, or your 2 extra plays?
I have A.J. Brown over 4.5 receptions.
A.J. Brown over 4.5 catches.
And the Eagles -0.5 in the fourth quarter.
Eagles -0.5 in fourth quarter. Okay. So this game is looking at the Sagarin ratings, which you could get on the USA Today.
The two
teams with the easiest schedules on the year. Philly 31st, San Francisco 32nd.
There's no way that's ever happened before.
The Sagarin ratings has San Francisco as the best team in the league. They have the Eagles with the 6th best team in the league. Between them, by the way, Cincinnati is 2nd, Kansas City is 3rd, Buffalo is 4th, Dallas is 5th. The Eagles is 6th. I agree that I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. And yes, this is going to be by far the best defense that the Eagles have seen all year, without a doubt. I mean, it's not even close. That's not to say that Philly can't put points up on the board. I mean, if Philly scores in the 30s tomorrow, I'm going to be majorly impressed. Majorly impressed. I'm taking San Francisco in this game. I've been saying since week 5 that San Francisco is going to be playing Philly in the NFC Championship game, and San Francisco is going to beat them. So I can't switch now. I cannot switch now. I have to keep. I have to keep. I can't change my mind after 14 weeks or whatever it is. 16 weeks.
True.
I have San Francisco winning 22-20.
22-20.
22-20. Now, this is a game where, in my opinion, you throw the analytics out the window. What do I mean by that? So the analytics would tell you 4th and 2 from the 32-yard line, you go for it. I don't think you want to do that in this game. I think 4th and 2 from the 32, you want to kick a field goal in this game. I think you want to put points on the board whenever you have the opportunity to put points on the board. By the way, a little preview, I feel the exact opposite in the next game. This is a game where you want points whenever you can get points. So that's how I kind of came up with 22 for San Francisco. I see San Francisco kicking a lot of field goals in this game.
Well, Robbie Gould's never missed a field goal or an extra point in the playoffs.
Knock on wood. That is true. He never has.
Penn State kicker?
Penn State kicker. So you can guess what one of my prop plays are. San Francisco to have more than 1.5 field goals. I'm also taking first quarter total points less than 9.5. And I'm going to give you guys a bonus prop play. One that's more than plus 300. So you could more than triple your money. There will be a scoreless quarter in this game.
There you go.
I was surprised when I saw that you were getting plus 335 on that.
Wow.
Because when I looked at the prop plays, I saw that it was basically the same odds for a scoreless quarter in the Cincinnati-Kansas City game. I'm like, well, that's not going to happen, of all probability. So I'm like, I wonder what I'm going to get for a scoreless quarter in San Francisco, the Eagles. So I said, what, about plus 240? And it was basically the same. At plus 335. I'm like, well, you got to take a chance on that because if you are expecting a lower scoring game, obviously the chances go up. Another potential prop play, if you want to take some plus money, potentially is there will be a successful 2-point conversion. Because the Eagles like to do some little tricks and sometimes run some 2-point plays. Now, again, would I do that in this game? No. Unless if it comes to the point where, you have to. You're down 8, you score a touchdown in the fourth quarter, you're going to go for 2 to tie the game. Like, Sirianni did that against the Giants. He lined up to go for 2 and tried to get them off sides to push the ball up to the 1, at which point he would have went for 2. But he couldn't get him to go off sides. He called timeout. They lined up for then the extra point. And if you caught the hot mic moment, Sirianni turned around, and I don't know if he said it to one of his coaches or one of the officials. He says, I know what the fuck I'm doing. And you know what? He was up 27-0 at that point. It was late in the first half. That's not a bad... You have all 3 timeouts. You can't use them once halftime comes. Why not try something stupid like that? Draw them off sides, get the ball at the 1, and then go for 2. I mean, we all know, especially in the sport of football, nothing is guaranteed. We all just saw what Jacksonville did the week before to the Chargers. We all saw what Minnesota did to the Colts a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So nothing is guaranteed. Except 2 things. There's 2 things that are guaranteed. San Francisco is winning this game, and you will not catch me drinking light beer at a sporting event.
Okay.
Just saying.
Just
saying. On to the next game. This line has been bouncing around all over the place. All over the place. Kansas City opened up the favorite. Cincinnati then all of a sudden was the favorite. The line opened at 3, and within like 20 minutes was down to 1. And then Cincinnati was a 1-point favorite. Now, Kansas City is a 1.5-point favorite with an over-under of 48.
What's a low over-under?
So, the over-under tells you something here. Since you said that, I was going to wait and talk about this. But I'll bring it up now before you start talking about the game. The over-under says something here. That Mr. Linesmaker does not trust the health of Mahomes in this game. they've played 3 times in the last 2 seasons. Cincinnati has won all of the games. All of the games scored in the 50s. All of the over-unders were in the 50s. And now you're popping a 48. Mr. Linesmaker does not trust the health of Patrick Mahomes in this game. Patrick Mahomes, of all the quarterbacks this year who threw passes outside of the pocket, Patrick Mahomes threw the most passes outside of the pocket this year. That would make sense. He likes to scramble and throw the ball. After his injury last week, how many passes did he throw outside the pocket? Any guess?
7.
0.
That's good.
None. So he obviously was not running around. Hell, the guy could barely walk last week.
True.
Normal situation, like if this was a regular season game, he's not playing this week. There's no chance in hell he's playing this week if this is a regular season game. Being the AFC Championship game, there's no way in hell he's not playing this week. Unless if there was major structural damage that is preventing him from playing. But there's not. But Mr. Linesmaker is shading the over-under, and in some ways where the line is. Don't forget, this line, as I just said a little bit ago, this line opened at 3. So Mr. Linesmaker really liked Kansas City. And Mr. Linesmaker at 3 might have been already incorporating the injury. So if he gets out of that game unscathed, is the line 4.5 to open? Maybe.
I think Mr. Linesmaker is drinking light beer.
Well, obviously you like Cincinnati.
Obviously.
I mean, you have Cincinnati to win the Super Bowl, so obviously you like.
If you take everything into perspective.
There you go.
Words. How
Have you been drinking some light beer this morning?
how you would ever consider Kansas City to be a favorite?
Yeah. By the way,
we're beating Joe Burrow.
Yeah. So when the last 3 times they played, Cincinnati won 27-24, 27-24, and 34-31. So like I said, all the games have been in the 50s. All the over-unders have been in the 50s.
Both quarterbacks are proven winners. Just one has won a Super Bowl, one hasn't.
Right.
One probably should have a Super Bowl, or they both should.
Yeah.
Mahomes reminds me a little bit recently of Josh Allen. He just isn't as good as maybe he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He's a little not as good of a big game quarterback as he used to be. Josh Allen just isn't a big game quarterback.
Fair enough.
And with the injury, I think that's going to limit him. I think he's going to play pretty much until he literally doesn't have an ankle.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's that committed to play. I don't think he's worried about that. But I'm just
sure
it's going to take one hit, and all of a sudden this man isn't moving, and he's going to get hit.
You would think. I mean, unless if he's a miracle worker or has the Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
His mobility is going to be limited in this game.
And I think that really hurts about half of Kansas City's game.
Absolutely.
So I think they're going to use a lot of pitch down catches. And, as long as you don't do Kirk Cousins 4th and 8, pitch it down for 3 yards.
That's a James
I think
Franklin.
a lot of 3-4 yard catches. Get the ball out of Mahomes' hand quick. A lot of possible catches to like McKinnon and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Bengals will have problem scoring. I don't. I think they can easily put up over 30. Okay. And I'm not sure Kansas City can keep up with that.
Okay. Unless if he really is miraculously 100%.
Yeah. Unless he's just somehow fine, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you have the score for this game? Obviously, you have Cincinnati winning.
I have Kansas City 20, Cincinnati 31.
31. And your two extra plays are?
I have Mahomes to throw an interception. And I have Travis Kelce over 7.5 receptions.
Kelsey over 7.5.
Yes.
By the way, do you know how many receptions they had in their game last month?
No.
Huh?
No.
4. Just say. Not that that means anything.
Well, I just think if he's going to get the ball out quick, it's either going to McKinnon or Kelce.
Right.
Right.
I agree. I completely agree. So now, as I said earlier, where in the San Francisco Philly game you throw the analytics out the window, in this game, analytics becomes your god. If the analytics say 4th and 2 from the 32, you go for it. You go for it in this game. You don't want 3 points in this game unless if you have no other choice but to take 3 points in this game. You want to be putting up touchdowns in this game. The thing that scares me the most is I have not heard one expert in this game, these so-called football experts, I have not heard one of them take Kansas City to win this game. Every single one is on the Bengals to win this game. So normally when the whole world is zigging, as a bettor, you should be zagging.
Oh, I remember, just like when you said in week 5, San Francisco's going to win the Super Bowl, you said the Bengals were the best team in the league.
I did. I wish you reminded me of that like 4 weeks ago. By the way, so far I've only heard like 2 experts pick San Francisco to win. The vast majority of them are also on the Eagles. Which is another reason why I wanted to zag in that game. This game for me is a lot harder to zag. I really, really, really want to see a Cincinnati-San Francisco Super Bowl. Just for the storyline of first pick in the draft versus last pick in the draft.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be one hell of a storyline. That storyline writes itself.
In last year's draft or when Joe was picked first?
No, so the year that Joe Burrow was picked, he was the first pick in the draft. Whatchamacallit was the last pick in last year's draft.
Okay, so they went the same
draft.
It
would be a great storyline if they came from the same draft. that would be wild. But no, Purdy was last year's draft. But that's still a great storyline. The very first pick starting quarterback versus the very last pick starting quarterback. That would be wild.
Yeah,
so
that's a pretty good storyline.
I am going to take Cincinnati in this game. And actually, your score is like, I think, like almost dead on in this. I really do. I had it 31-23.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, like we're like almost thinking exactly the same in this game. I will be the first to admit I struggled to find prop plays that I really liked in the first game. I did not struggle at all finding prop plays that I liked in this game. I struggled to find two that I liked. The two that I wanted to pick for the. So I'm going to tell them all to you, but the two that I picked is Cincinnati to have more than 2.5 touchdowns in the game. And I'm going back to the same pick I had last week, McKinnon to score a touchdown. Because I agree. I think that Mahomes, because his scrambling is going to be limited, his scrambling is when he normally finds Travis Kelce. Well, I don't think he's going to be able to scramble as much, so I think the check down game is going to be huge in this game, where I should just probably pick McKinnon's total touches, but I'm getting a juicy plus 155 for him to score a touchdown. So I'm going to take McKinnon to score a touchdown. So those are my two plays. Cincinnati to score more than 2.5 touchdowns, McKinnon to score a touchdown. The other prop plays that I do like in this game, I like Cincinnati to have more than 23.5 points. I like the total touchdowns to be more than 5.5. I do like Kelce as a touchdown scorer. I like first half points over 23.5. I like Joe Burrow over 1.5 touchdowns. I like Cincinnati and Kansas City both to go over their posted total in the first half, which is 10.5 for Cincinnati, 12.5 for Kansas City. And I like total touchdowns in the first half to be more than 2.5. So, my two favorite prop plays for this game, besides Cincinnati scoring, like the top one was Cincinnati score more than 2.5 touchdowns in the game. The other one was Cincinnati over 23.5, but I felt they were too similar to make both my two official plays. Because the chances are if Cincinnati scores 3 touchdowns, they're probably going over 23.5. Doesn't mean that they will. They could score 21 and that would be it.
True.
So my two favorite plays are Cincinnati over 23.5 and Cincinnati total touchdowns over 2.5 are my two favorites. All right, so you have Cincinnati and the Eagles. I have Cincinnati and San Francisco. So, before we wrap up the show, current Super Bowl lines. Let me just get your opinion. I posted them on my Facebook page, and I've already played a couple of these. So, you have Cincinnati against the Eagles. Right now, that line is Eagles -1.
I wouldn't put Philly as a favorite.
So, how we're going to do this is you have to make a bet on who are you betting based on what the current line is, and then on the 4 of them, like we're going to rank the 4. So we got Cincinnati, Philly, and then we got Cincinnati, San Fran, and then we got Kansas City, Philly, Kansas City, San Fran. So here are the lines. Philly is a 1-point favorite against either team in the AFC. San Francisco is a 1-point underdog against either team in the AFC. So, I'm assuming that means you like Cincinnati over Philly getting a point.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you like Cincinnati. I love Cincinnati. If that is the Super Bowl, I don't know what the official opening line would be. Obviously, you don't, because anything could happen tomorrow. There could be injuries, blah, 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 blah. But I would love to dip into my 401k right now and play as much as I can on Cincinnati getting a point. Just based on on the Sagarin ratings. By the way, the Sagarin ratings where the Eagles were 32, Cincinnati's 4. Cincinnati's played the 4th hardest schedule, according to Sagarin. Yeah. Fourth hardest schedule. On a neutral field, they are two and a quarter points better than Philly. And right now, on Barstool, I'm catching a point with Cincinnati. Cincinnati being in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Give me Cincinnati. Cincinnati, San Francisco. Cincinnati, -1. Who would you take?
Cincy.
You would take Cincy. My head tells me to take Cincy. My heart tells me to take San Francisco only because I kept saying San Francisco is going to win the Super Bowl. So I have to take San Fran. Kansas City, Philly. Again, Philly a 1-point favorite. This is tough because actually you have 2 injured quarterbacks.
Actually, yeah.
By the way, out of all 4 matchups, this is the one I do not want to see.
No, this would be. I probably wouldn't even really want to watch it because it'd be like the Tom Brady of my era versus the team I don't want to win.
Yes.
I'd probably take the Eagles.
And I would take Kansas City. Kansas City, San Fran. Kansas City would be a 1-point favorite. Obviously, you're going to take San Fran. And so would I.
If Brock Purdy could beat the Eagles, I think he could beat Kansas City.
Got it. So now, of those 4, which is your play you like the most? Mine, I can tell you right now, is easily Cincinnati to beat Philly.
Cincy, Philly.
Okay, so we both agree.
The one I dislike the most is Philly, Kansas City. That's kind of a toss-up for me.
Okay. Mine would be Cincy, San Fran. Although that would be the game I'd want to watch the most. Which, by the way, that would be their 3rd time facing each other in a Super Bowl.
Kansas City's 2-0. Okay, San Francisco's 2-0.
San Francisco is 2-0. My first bet I ever made in my life was on their first Super Bowl. I bet my godfather $1.
There you go.
I won.
Was Joe Montana playing?
I don't remember.
Trying to poke out how old you are.
I'm old.
I don't think you would. I don't think it would have been Joe Montana.
It could have been. Could have been.
San Fran first Super Bowl starting quarterback.
I know in their second Super Bowl, Montana led them on a comeback in the 4th quarter to win.
Yeah, Montana was their quarterback. So there you go.
By the way, a couple interesting things in this game. Teams that are on long winning streaks of 10 or more games typically do not do well against the spread in the playoffs. Although last week it was 2-0 with both San Francisco and Cincinnati covering. And it's also interesting that you have both San Francisco and Cincinnati on very long winning streaks, and they are both the away team. You don't see that very often.
True. It's because both started like 3-3.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, at the beginning of the season, Joe Burrow was coming off of surgery So he basically had no
preseason.
No preseason. He threw 5 interceptions in this first game against Pittsburgh, and then he went into Dallas and they lost a close game. And how many games have they lost since?
It was the curse of the loser of the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, they lost against Pittsburgh. They lost against Dallas. I believe the Pittsburgh game went into overtime too, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember.
They lost both of those games by 3, and then they beat the Jets. Shocker. They beat Miami. Then they lost to Baltimore by 2, and then they beat New Orleans, beat Atlanta. Then they played Cleveland on Halloween night and got their ass kicked. I remember that game. And then they haven't lost since. Winning by 21, 7, 4, 3, 13, 11, 4, 11, 7, and 17.
So I'm pretty sure I picked Cincinnati to cover that game against Cleveland.
I know I took Cleveland in that game. I'm not sure. I don't know if I did it here, but in my football pool, I know for a fact I took Cleveland in that game. Looking at San Francisco in their long winning streak, and I remember taking some ribbing when they were sitting at 3 and 4. Oh, they're going to win the Super Bowl, all right. So they lost to Chicago, and then they beat Seattle, and that's when Trey Lance got injured. Then they lost to Denver. They beat the Rams. They beat Carolina. And then they lost back-to-back games to Atlanta and Kansas City. So they were sitting at 3 and 4. And they haven't lost since, beating the Rams, the Chargers, Arizona, New Orleans, Miami, Tampa, Seattle, Washington, Vegas, Arizona, Seattle, and Dallas. They're not beating world beaters.
I was going to say, they haven't really beat anybody in the top 10.
Right. Yeah, they're not beating world beaters. And they won those games by 17-6, 28-13, 16, 28-8, 17-3, 25, 18, and 7. But let's look at who the Eagles have beaten, and let's find the world beaters there.
There is none.
Now, obviously, the Eagles would have had to play their own division twice, so they would have faced 2 teams that made the playoffs.
But Dallas isn't a top 10 team, and you know that.
They played Minnesota. They played Detroit, Minnesota, Washington, Jacksonville, Arizona, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Houston, Washington, Indy, Green Bay, Tennessee, Giants, Chicago, Dallas, New Orleans, and then the Giants twice.
Jacksonville was the best team they beat.
Right. So here is their away games. So the mark of a true team is how good they play on the road. That's always the mark. How good do you play on the road? So here were their away games. Obviously, they're going to play the Giants, Dallas, and Washington on the road, obviously. But their other away games were Detroit, Arizona, Houston, Indy, Chicago, and that's it.
Detroit,
Arizona, which, if you recall, Arizona had a chance to tie that game and missed the field goal at the buzzer. So Detroit, Arizona, Houston, Indy, Chicago.
So, other than Detroit, there was no more than 4 wins for any of those teams. So Detroit was the best away team they played. And Detroit was good at home.
Yeah. The Eagles
but they were tragic on the road.
The Eagles only won that game by 3. They were up big in that game and let Detroit come back. That was in week 1.
Was like week
1.
Yeah, week 1.
Week 1. And then they went home and hammered Minnesota.
So other than that, like, Arizona had 5 wins? And most of those came early when Murray wasn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears have the first pick. Houston has the second pick. Indy has the third pick, or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, so neither team has really played anybody good. Hence, and you're going to tell me that the Eagles are right now a favorite in the Super Bowl? I I don't see it.
That's like basically saying the Vikings were, should be a favorite over the Bengals. Like they just wouldn't have been.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I want to see the Bengals win. Because if it is the Bengals-Eagles, sorry, Philly, you guys are not beating Cincinnati. I can't see it. And every day that goes by that the Eagles would be favored in that game, I will put more and more and more money on Cincinnati in that game. By the way, you might want to tell your girlfriend to spell Bengals right.
She said bagels. Go Bagels.
Go Bagels. I mean, if
and go cigars.
Yeah. See now, I wanted to bring that up. So Joe Burrow likes to smoke his cigars. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the chance that Joe Burrow drinks light beer at a sporting event?
-40. If you smoke cigars, you're yeah.
Yeah. I can't see you holding a Miller Lite at a sporting event.
If you're smoking a cigar, you either have whiskey in your hand or you have the darkest of dark beer. Yeah. It's a very manly thing to do.
Yeah.
And they're probably good Cuban ones, too.
Probably. Not Producto de Peru, let's put it that way. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our show, our special Saturday show. I believe we're back on Tuesday. I don't think you're doing anything on Tuesday.
Not to my knowledge. I can give you a real quick tell you what next week's going to look like.
Okay.
Next Tuesday, I am not doing anything.
Okay.
Next Friday, I am not doing anything.
Okay.
Wrestling and hockey are away.
I read somewhere, like, that might have been their last home match for wrestling. Is that true?
They have 2 more home matches.
Do they? Okay.
They have Maryland at home and they have Ryder at home.
I know what I read. That was their last match at the BJC.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
We're only supposed to have one of those a year, but
yes.
We usually don't face Michigan and Iowa at home in the same year.
Yes. But that's what I read. That it was... Because they said... who's the guy that wrestles at 133 or whatever it is?
Roman Bravo, yeah.
Yeah, they said, pins his opponent in his last match at the Bryce Jordan Center. That's what it said.
Yeah, because he's his 6th year.
Yeah. Got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. We will see you Tuesday when we dive back into politics. Lord knows there's a lot of that to talk about going around. So until then, have a safe, happy, healthy weekend. If you're going to any sporting events, please, for the love of God, do not drink light beer. Always ask yourself this question. WWMPD. Question mark. Because I guarantee you, he ain't drinking light beer. WWMPD. Do you know who?
What would...
MPD. Obviously, you know the last word.
Drink.
No. Well, you can do drink, but I was thinking more do. But yeah, we'll put drink. So who's MP? You know it. It's on the tip of your tongue. MP. You want a clue?
Sure.
If it's not Mrs., it's
Mister.
now who's
Fat?
who's the P?
Fats?
No, I don't call myself Mr. Fats.
Mister.
We bring it up on the show a lot.
Pickles!
Pickles! What would Mr. Pickles drink? Mr. Pickles ain't drinking no light beer, I can promise you that.
I don't know. He did work for Twitter.
That's true. He probably does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you Tuesday. Have a good one. See ya.